I'm censored, and there's no reason to pussyfoot around shit. You and I are surrounded by fucking retards. If you look down on it's near the bottom right, I'm likely being censored at the moment for what I just left on here. It hasn't been removed yet, but we'll see if this is what it is in a minute. As it reads, 1871, America became a corporation. 1913, quote-unquote citizens became debt slaves. These are facts. You could look up the finer details to appreciate why I just said what I just said. But again, you and I are surrounded by retards. Back to point. I said, what superficial trash are you rattling off? What's your excuse for not researching? Because here's what this kid's going to talk about, which is why he has traction on the DARPA internet. While you're watching this or afterwards, look at how many people have circulated this, how many people have reposted it, and how many people click like. The first two are the same fucking thing. I just said it two different ways.
I'm starting to believe that the American dream was just the government gaslighting us. I'm starting to believe that there's no
government. That's a superficial jargon. It's a fucking corporation, and it has been since 1871. Gaslighting. This is as far as I could get into the video, but gaslighting is social engineering jargon in place to justify dogmatic horse shit. In other words, a smart person wouldn't have rattled off either of those things. He's a retard. Technically, he's not retarded, but he's acting like one. He's functioning as one, because this is the adventure he chose. He's misleading people, which is why he has traction on the DARPA internet.
Government gaslighting us. I'm starting to believe that there's no such thing as a working class American. More so, we're just a slave class. Sounds crazy, but hold up. Let me break it down.
It doesn't sound crazy.
We work technically 3 months out the year just to pay our taxes. But then there's an 8% sell tax on the item.
All taxation is unconstitutional, but nothing is for the people, and it hasn't been for the people by the people since 1871. Roughly enough, during the Civil War, this is roughly when the Republic fell, and it was finalized in 1871. I'm tired of rattling this shit off, you guys. People don't research, people are fucking stupid, and I keep echoing this because it's fucking true. And if it wasn't true, things like this wouldn't exist in the first place, and this guy he would know what he's talking about. He wouldn't be misleading people. Things like this bother me. It should bother you too, but you would have to think about it in order to be bothered.
So we buy. There's a tax on when we receive money. New Yorkers are getting taxed from going to
He's still talking about taxes.
To borough. Philadelphia even has a sugar tax.
And we're still talking taxes.
Tax. You have to pay taxes on your car. It's called registration.
We have to rent everything that we need because you and I are debt slaves who quite literally produce the value. We are the value. There's nothing to back up our currency, which is why we're debt slaves. It's debt-based. It's not fucking rocket science, because rocket science is a parabolic arc that ditches in the sea, and most people believe in that shit too.
You have to pay insurance. You have to pay health insurance, dental insurance.
You don't have to pay any of that. But you and I maintain one another's cageless prison. In other words, if you and I are surrounded by more retards than people who are capable of critical thinking skills, they will reaffirm these bullshit jurisdictions, which is why people pay that shit. Why people fall into line and walk in lockstep. This guy's reaffirming that shit, mind you. It's bullshit. There's no reason to fucking call attention to any of that, based on what I've already highlighted, that refutes anything after that, relating to, you and I being free in any form or way.
Medical insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, car insurance, life insurance. The whole life and retire on your pension and live in your house that you paid your whole life for because of property tax.
You and I don't own things as is. And you have to pay a land tax and blah, 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 blah. Same shit this guy's rattling off. It's a bunch of games. It's a bunch of phony, as people would prefer to think of it, apparently, based on what I've left on YouTube, jurisdictions. Phony spheres of influence. It's a joke. But it's because people aren't doing the right thing. Because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Which is why I said people are acting like fucking retards. Granted, I said he is a retard. And technically, it's a gray area with fucking twats out there like this. Let's see what was flagged. What was flagged? And nothing should be, because freedom of speech has nothing to do with community standards whatsoever. Oh, look. Imagine that. Imagine that. I challenged him, and I should be able to challenge him. If I wasn't allowed to challenge him, I wasn't able to do this, how would anybody know this shit? Apparently people don't research. They confuse entertainment with research. So no wonder this is being flagged. Don't people praise TikTok? Oh, sorry, I probably should have left social engineering stickers people call emojis that were written into the algorithm that dumb people down in here instead. And I probably should have told him that he's doing a good job lying to people, misleading people, talking about superficial shit. What I'm referring to, you can look this up. You can reason this out. You can use this as a tool. And you can move on from there, because these are points in history that, how should I put it? This is when things changed for the worse in big ways. These are just a couple examples, which is why I focus on this often. And it has been censored on TikTok. Do you see a cuss word in here? I don't think I cursed in here. I didn't call him a stupid twat in here, even though he is. Superficial trash is probably the the roughest thing I said in here. And that was fucking censored. I don't know if that's why, but it was fucking censored. That's absurd. And if this is removed, what do you think the likelihood of somebody popping into the same post and pointing out what I'm talking about is?
I'm starting to...
Do you think anybody else in here is going to say something worth a goddamn? They just changed the word slavery to salary. We don't need them. They need us. We are all slaves for food, water, and shelter. Whatever the fuck that is. Insurance forced by law. It was definitely rigged. The American dream is just an illusion. They have the whole cake and keep us fighting over crumbs. Retards. Fucking retards. Brain dead retards. Stupid fucking retards. And more retards. Hey, look everybody, retards. Brain dead retards. Retards who aren't worth their salt. Case in point, there's the wartime flag of the District of Columbia. And truth is the daughter of Saturnel Satanel. But that doesn't come up in truth community circles, because people don't fucking research. What the fuck do I know?